Okay, we are live. Fantastic. We'll just wait a few minutes for the room to fill. I'm very excited about today. Uh, we are live on Think Capital's YouTube, on X, and we're going to be covering psychological topics. So we're going to be covering psychological topics on how to be a successful funded trader. So I'm very, very excited about that. This is my first time in hosting a call, a webinar with Think Capital. So very, very curious to see. I'm excited to see what the community is like. I want to make sure that this is very informative, very engaging. So I need you guys to uh, be active on the chat. I want you guys to also be encouraging each other, also making notes. I'm going to be giving you guys some really, really powerful insights into trading psychology, performance, and I want you guys taking notes. So on the chat, I want you guys to be summarizing what I'm saying. So I want to see who's paying attention as well. That's going to be very, very important. So we'll just continue to wait a few more minutes for the room to fill. I believe this will be recorded, so we won't wait too long, so you guys can just get straight in. We'll get straight into it. So for those who have joined so far, tell me where you're from, what city, what country are you guys from? I'm very curious to see what the Think Capital community, where you guys are from. I'm currently looking at the YouTube chat. Let's see. Okay. So we got traders connecting from South Africa, Sweden. Fantastic. I'm currently based in UK myself, although I work with clients from all around the world. And this is, I've got clients in the US, the UK, even in places like Malaysia, Dubai, Australia. Yeah, this is, I see I've got traders from India. Fantastic. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. So what I want you guys to do is type a 1 in the chat if you want to learn psychological techniques to help you become a profitable trader. Type a 1 in the chat for me. Good, good. Now, type a 2 in the chat if you want to become a profitable trader by mastering your routines and processes, as well as mastering your mindset so that you are able to have the emotional control and resilience to handle and sustain consistent profitability in trading. Type a 2 in the chat. Good, good. Now, you might be right now in a situation where you're currently struggling, okay? You're struggling because perhaps you don't have a strategy yet. Or if you do have a strategy, you're not able to follow it consistently. Perhaps maybe you have a lot of financial pressure at home, you've got bills to pay, and the cost of living is just constantly increasing. Your bills are increasing, but your income isn't. So there's a lot of pressure on you to perform in trading. Perhaps maybe you've invested a lot on courses, and you might be a little bit overwhelmed with all the information that's out there. Now, imagine you have a profitable strategy, a system that is able to provide you the probability of consistent profitability, a system that and an edge that is driven by data, a system and an edge that is optimized for not only your personality but also by trade with trading prop firms. Imagine now you're managing multiple six figures in funding or even seven figures in funding. You are calm, you're composed, you're aware of your emotions. Imagine what that will feel like. Just for a moment, just pause and imagine what that would feel like to finally have that resilience and professionalism and have a profitable funded trader business. Now, would you agree that to get from where you are now to where you actually want to be, you need a system and a process to get you there? Well, I want to talk to you guys about that system today. Yeah. What systems and tactics can you use to actually be able to capitalize off a profitable edge? This is an essential part of being a successful trader. And without this, you're just going to be spinning your wheels. And that's not really what you imagine for yourself, is it? Now, the world right now and the way the industry is right now, there's huge opportunity. There's massive opportunity right now as a funded trader because you've got prop firms like Think Capital that are giving you the opportunity to actually make a living from this. Okay. And as long as you can prove that you can stick to the rules and you can be consistent, you can have such huge opportunity as a trader. And you have to be able to do this quickly. Okay. You have to be able to figure out how to be a consistently profitable trader quickly because the opportunity for prop firms, we don't really know how long it's going to last. The world is changing so quickly with AI, with crypto, with Trump in office. There's huge opportunity right now as a funded trader. But you have to be able to master the key pillars of being a profitable and successful trader. And those key pillars include having an edge and a system that is backed by data, having the mental fortitude and resilience to handle the emotional pressure of trading, having a solid risk management approach so that you're able to not only manage risk in your trading strategy, but that risk is going to help you scale. So you're actually running this as a business. You're able to manage your finances and understand properly how to scale because that's what we're doing. We're building wealth here. We're building a cash flowing business. And finally, you need protocols, you need a mental model to be able to remain consistent. These are the pillars that you need in order to be successful as a trader. And I do want to ask you guys as well, like where are you guys at right now? Are you working full time? Are you working multiple jobs? What does your routine look like right now? And what kind of things are holding you back as a trader? Do you need more money? Do you need more time? Do you need more guidance, more direction? Now, I want to ask you guys as well, like, have you guys ever been in a situation where you wanted to make someone proud? You perhaps maybe you've made some promises to them, but then you end up failing them. Or let me take you back to 2017. Um, 2017 was a very tough year, but also a year that for me set, I guess it set the foundations because that was one of the worst years because I remember I had to go visit my mum and in London, and she lives in a very rough part of London. And if you guys know anything about London, it's yeah, it's not all sunshine and roses there. Most capital cities, they're very rough around the edges. So I went to visit her, and unfortunately, I had some very, very bad news for her because I had lost my life savings. And I just remember the reaction in her face. I was sitting in her living room. It was cold outside. It was just gray day, and I just had to like confess to my own mum that I'd broken the promises I made her. I promised that I was going to be profitable. I promised her that the money, my savings were going to be used to trade profitably, to, finally get out of this rat race and actually have time freedom. I've made promises to her that I was going to take her traveling. But I had to admit at that moment that actually, no, I failed. I failed because I wasn't able to control my emotions. I wasn't able to follow my strategy. Um, and that disappointment in her face at that moment, I never wanted to disappoint her ever again. So I made a promise to myself at that moment that I'm going to do whatever it takes to succeed as a trader. And I just started to really approach my trading and my processes from the point of view of high performance, of like, what are the pillars? Okay, I need to figure out the system and the strategy. Okay, that's the first thing I need to figure out. Secondly, I need to have a solid routine. I need to be aware of the mistakes that I'm making. So I started really put everything together and create systems, processes, flow charts. And I started to understand myself better because I started journaling. I wasn't lazy with the back test anymore. And I wasn't lazy with journaling anymore. I was journaling every single detail of every trade, before, during, after, how I was feeling. And as I was collecting this data, I started to gain more and more understanding of myself, my trading. And there was an opportunity that came up in London to be uh, for an analyst role, for a startup hedge fund. And this was such an incredible opportunity because it was an opportunity to be surrounded by profitable traders. And out of about 300 people that applied, I successfully landed a role. And I was now in a role where I had to provide fundamental analysis and technical analysis reports for investors based on the trades that the traders were taking. So I had to um, understand why the traders were taking their trades and then provide reports for investors. So it was a really cool job because it was in Mayfair, surrounded by traders, and I really started to understand how these guys were profitable. I was able to literally follow the same routine as them. We would um, go to the gym at the same time, we'll eat at the same time, we'll pray at the same time, we'll trade at the same time, and some trades will win together, we'll lose together, and I saw their reactions to how they managed when they win, when they managed a mistrade. How did they respond to a losing trade? How did they respond when they were in drawdown? And so I got first-hand insights into what it takes. And I built systems and processes so that I too can do that. And very quickly, I was able to become profitable myself. I was able to prove myself, and I was able to manage some capital. I started off on about $10,000 and I started to build that up. Um, Now, things happen about a year and a half later, and I didn't see a future anymore at that firm. And that was when I discovered funded trading. And it was just a perfect solution. And this was in around 2019. So in 2020, just before the first lockdowns in the UK, I had got funded $50,000 with a prop firm. And I quit that job. I set up an office at home and I didn't look back. I just kept trading. I kept trading. And fortunately, alhamdulillah, I was able to sustain profitability. I was able to scale my funding and I was able to do this full time. And since then, it's been an incredible journey because I've been able to also have my own students. I've been able to coach. I've been invited to speak at in multiple places around the world on stages with 300-400 traders. And I've even hosted my own workshops where I've been helping traders transform. And now I have a coaching uh, business and academy providing one-on-one coaching, and we've hit some amazing records. We've unlocked over 30 million in funding now and over $2 million in prop firm payouts. It's something that I'm so proud of doing. And what I want to do for you guys today is I want to share with you some of the techniques, some of the concepts of what I learned back then in the trading floor and what I've learned through working with over 100 traders on a one-on-one basis on and extracting the data from their trading journals, extracting all of the solutions that they used in order to get out of drawdown, uh, overcome FOMO, um, overcome a fear of losing a trade, overcome greed. So this is something that I want to share with you guys today. So I want to ask you guys then, what is your biggest struggle in trading right now? So what's your biggest psychological issue? And I'm going to give you four options. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Uh, Here we go. Share screen. All right. Type a one in the chat. Can everyone see my screen? Type a one. Yep. Okay, fantastic. All right. So out of these four, these are the four most common. Out of these four, which of these do you suffer with the most? Which of these is your biggest enemy right now? Is it fear of missing out? Is it closing your trades early? Is it revenge trading, over trading, or you're just not following your trading plan? What's your biggest struggle right now? Let's have a look at the comments here on YouTube. I see. Okay, revenge trading. Lion says revenge trading. Over trading, closing trades early, over trading, all the above. Okay. So I see closing your trades early seems to be the most popular one from those who are live in the chat. Okay. Right. Let's go into closing the trades early. Now, The first thing I want to say about closing your trades early, guys, is the fact that there's this huge emphasis on the outcome. There's this huge attachment to the outcome that forces you to almost be in more pain holding that trade than it is to just um, end up losing the profit. So it's more painful for you to hold the trade than it is um, ended up potentially giving back profit. So you force yourself to like really just, oh, I got to exit right now. So this is a very powerful emotion that's happening, and there's a few reasons why this is happening. But I want to talk to you guys first about certain triggers that are occurring. So a trigger, this is something that happens before you actually respond. So there's these triggers that happen before the primary behavior. So the primary behavior is you're closing the trade early. Yeah. But there is a trigger. And this trigger, what happens is in your brain, it triggers this sort of red flag, as in there is uh, there is a level of threat that suddenly happens, and this happens in a split second. So when you experience one of these triggers, such as outcome bias, maybe you're attached to a previous outcome, maybe you've lost 2 or 3 trades already. When you experience impatience or fatigue, and you're faced with a decision of, okay, should I hold this trade or should I just close it right now? Now, what's happening in your brain is that you are now in a position where you need to cope with the pain that's happening in your brain. There's such high levels of cortisol in your body that it becomes too painful to hold the trade. So what you end up doing is you prefer to exit the trade early in order to cope with the pain of holding that trade. So as soon as you close that trade, you get this dopamine. And dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's a mood enhancer. It actually motivates you. It makes you feel good almost. And dopamine is something that you need to be very aware of. Now, the fact that you get dopamine from closing the trade early means that your brain associates closing the trade early as something good, something positive. It's almost like there's a weight lifted off your shoulders, doesn't it? Right? You close the trade early and it's like, oh, okay, I can breathe now. Yeah. Type a one in the chat if that seems like a familiar feeling and experience. So that pain that you're experiencing, it's real. It's real. It's physiologically, you have a higher uh, increase in your heart rate. You have a shortness of breath. Some of us will feel this tightening in the chest. Some of us will be sweating either on your palms, armpits. You find yourself now in danger. Like your brain thinks you are in danger if you hold this trade. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But it's real. It's real because our brains have been programmed for us to survive. And in order for us to survive, we need to stay away from things that uh, are a threat. And one thing that you need to understand is your relationship with money. Your relationship with money and what you perceive as money is crucial as a trader. You need to be able to reprogram in your mind your beliefs about money, because we've been programmed naturally by God also by our parents, also by school, also by social media, institutions, and the government. We've been programmed to think a certain way about money. Okay. And a lot of these just don't serve us as traders. A lot of these beliefs don't serve us as risk managers. They don't serve us as investors. They don't serve us as active traders. That we have to win a certain amount of trades, and we also have to lose a certain amount of trades. And losing is a big part of trading. So why does it hurt so much to lose? Why? And it's because of the programming that's happened, the certain beliefs you need to have. So once you uncover these beliefs about money, you can then start to and understand the triggers. What triggers you into believing these sorts of things? When you make money, how does it feel? Why do you feel like that when you make money? When you lose money, how does that feel? Why do you feel like that? And so you need to ask the right kind of questions to get the right sort of answers. And you wanted to, and it's very important that you begin to rewire or reprogram these beliefs. You want to reframe a lot of the beliefs. So you can do a simple exercise by writing down all your beliefs about money and all the beliefs that you got from your parents, from society, etc. Right? All the beliefs that you have about money. And in one column, let's say you have, you've got, you put that into two. One side, it's all of the beliefs you have about money. Now, on the other side is you want to now write down how can you reframe this belief so that it serves you as a trader. So this is very important because as soon as you start realizing which beliefs serve you and which beliefs don't serve you, something something amazing happens. You start changing your thoughts and you start changing your behaviors and you start changing your emotions. It's powerful when you change your beliefs from an ideological perspective. When your ideology changes, your emotions change, your thoughts change, your actions change. And this is a process that I love to go through with traders. Um, and hopefully with one of you guys shortly we'll be going through this process of reprogramming and reframing certain beliefs that you have about trading. So I'm really looking forward to that. Um, Now, these are the sorts of triggers. Now, what sort of triggers that are on the screen right now do you experience when you experience this fear, this fear of losing the trade? You want to close the trade early. Which of these triggers do you find you suffer from the most? Which ones are you aware of, and which ones weren't you aware of? Let's have a look. I'm looking in the chat. Let's see. Fear of losing. Fear of losing. Yes. Okay. So fear of losing. That's why I put it first, because this closing the trade early fundamentally is about fear of losing. So I'm gonna give you guys uh, a very powerful way of reframing this fear of losing. Okay, who's ready for it? Type a one in the chat. So remember I said earlier that the fear of losing suddenly becomes more painful than holding the trade. Or I think, sorry, that holding the trade becomes more painful than losing the trade. So nobody likes to lose the trade, right? Nobody wants to lose a trade. And so closing the trade early, you might be in a little bit of profit. The trade hasn't really progressed to your TP, and fundamentally, that's really affecting your P&L, because where you should be getting an average of 2% for every 1% that you risk, or you should get a 1 to 2 risk to reward, you're only getting a 0.5 or a 1 to 1 risk to reward. So that's really messing up with your stats. It's messing up with your equity over a period of time. And obviously, that's just not good enough to be able to get funded and to be able to get a payout. Okay, so we all know that closing your trade early before its predetermined target, we all know that this is a big problem. This needs to change. Okay, so we know now that it's more painful to actually hold the trade. So what the key thing here is pain. Now, pain is something that you can condition. You can condition what gives you more pain than something else. Now, what we need to do is we need to fundamentally change where you get pain from. What gives you more pain? Because if you can switch this, if we can reframe this, then this is powerful, because now if you can replace the fear of losing and the pain of holding the trade, if you can replace that with a new pain, something special is going to happen. Because if you no longer fear losing, you're going to hold the trade, right? You're going to allow it to play out. You're going to allow it to hit your TP, which is going to result in a better risk to reward, which is then going to result in a better equity over time on your performance. So how do we do that? How do we replace the pain? Now, one thing that I do with my clients is I get them to, I condition them to be very disciplined with their routine and their process. They have a daily scorecard. They have a habit tracker. And so they become so obsessed with following this process. And part of that is also your trading plan. Now, they become so obsessed that with that process, because it's motivating. It feels good to follow the rules. It feels good to have someone holding you accountable and kicking your ass if you're not performing. And it's more painful to let your coach down. It's more painful to let the coach that's trying to help you and that has proven expertise to help you. It is more painful to let him down than it is to break your rule, which is to close the trade early. So when I've got a client that is about to close that trade early, he knows that he's got to report to me and my team. He knows we're going to see it, and he knows that we're going to kick his ass. Like, he's going to hear it. So the pain we replace, essentially, it's like shame and embarrassment. So shame and embarrassment of not sticking to what you've agreed to. You've made an agreement. You've signed and you've agreed that you're going to do 1, 2, and 3. It's embarrassing if you don't do it, isn't it? It's like, where's your integrity? Where is your respect for my time? Where's your respect for your time? And guess what happens? The pain of letting the coach down, the pain of letting the process and the data down, that pain becomes more than, oh, the pain of, I could potentially lose this trade. So what we're doing there is we're reframing the pain. We're not getting rid of the pain. We're just replacing the pain with something more, with something different, something more effective. So remember, pain is your friend, okay? And if you avoid the right kind of pain, that pushes you towards the right kind of behavior. Okay. Now, if you're avoiding the wrong kind of pain, then that's pushing you to the behaviors that's going to cause you to close your trade early. Is this making sense, guys? Yeah. Type a yes in the chat for me. Is this making sense? Who's taking notes? Who can summarize in the chat what I've just said? If you want me to repeat that, let me know. I can repeat that, because what I've just said to you, what I've just shared, is a very powerful nugget. It's a game changer for reprogramming and reframing how you think about the problems that you're having. Because many of you have this problem with closing your trade early. So now let's talk about some solutions. Okay, so these solutions are extracted from the solutions that I gave my most successful clients, who ended up not only eliminating this problem, this impulsive behavior of closing the trade early, but then they were able to overcome it. They were able to get funded and get consistent payouts, because they managed to just stop themselves from messing up with the P&L, messing with their equity, messing with future profits. Excellent. I can see you guys in the chat paying attention. Fantastic. So here are some solutions, guys. You need to have a predefined, proven system. So this requires a good amount of back-tested data, good amount of forward-tested data. It requires spreadsheets of data and average amounts. You need to know the numbers of your system. And you also need to have a proven system on habits, routines, something that works for you. It's personalized for you. You need to be able to trust that system. Trust is very important, because if you trust your edge because you have the data, then you're going to hold the trade. You're going to hold it to TP. You're not going to mess with it just because of impulse and fear, right? And having reporting to a coach is very, very important, like I mentioned earlier, because you can use your own ego, you can use your integrity and respect to be able to hold yourself accountable. This is why the most successful athletes have coaches, because it pushes them beyond what's average, beyond the standard. They become exceptional. They become excellent because of the level of professionalism that they have, integrity that they have, that if the coach tells them that they need to do something, they go and do it. They listen, even if they don't want to, even though their emotions might hold them back, even though their body is saying no more, I'm done. They push themselves beyond the limits, and that's how they're able to become exceptional. It's the same thing with trading. Trading is a is a profession of performance, and so having a coach is so key, in especially if you're struggling on your own. um, Trading plan adherence. You have to be able to consistently follow that plan. Walking away and setting alerts. Just having an approach where you almost set and forget. Set your alert, do your analysis, set your entries, and walk away. Walk away means get your eyes off the chart. Don't have the apps on your phone where you can, close the trade within 3 seconds of unlocking your phone. Set these limitations, parameters in place. And you want to replicate the trading in the back test. You want to replicate the edge. And so what you did in the back test, you want to replicate that in real time as best as you can. Okay, so if you see a valid setup, you take it. And if the TP is set based on your data, you set that TP and you follow it, because now you're trading with probabilities. Now you're trading with a data-driven approach. And it's important to um, it's important to accept the risk. Accepting the risk is very important here, because without a solid risk management plan, then you essentially you're gambling. So if you have a predefined risk and you stick to it, that eliminates most impulsive behaviors, especially closing the trade early. Because if you haven't fully accepted the risk, then it's going to be very painful to lose the trade. And so no matter much uh, how much you know your system, how much you understand your process, if you haven't fully accepted the risk, then what's very going to happen very quickly is you're going to be threatened. Your brain is going to associate the losing the trade as a threat to your survival. And so it wants to escape the threat. How? By closing the trade early. So you need to be able to accept the risk and be okay with losing the trade. And risk, you have to be able to see it as part of doing business. It's part of your expenses as a business. It's a cost to the business. And so this is very, very important, accepting the risk of trading, that losing is part of the game. In fact, you should look forward to a loss. You should look forward to a string of losses, because then that gives you an opportunity to reduce risk, but it also gives you, it allows the law of large numbers, and it allows probability to take effect. Because if you go for a string of losses, but you followed your rules, then there's going to be a point at which you're going to have a string of wins, because of the law of large numbers and the law of probability. So if you're getting 2 losses, 3 losses, 4 losses, 5 losses in a row, this is normal. This is actually very normal. You just have to reduce your risk and just wait until the next winning trade, and then increase that risk once you've got the next winning trades. When I say increase risk, is like go back to normal risk. And that way you're reducing risk during drawdowns, and then you're going back to normal risk during your updraws, your winning streaks. Very, very important here, guys. So make sure you have some rules in place for that, to really, truly accept that risk. And having your predetermined targets beforehand, before you place the trade, you should already know your exits. I'm taking partials here, here, and I'm fully collapsing the trade here. Have that in place, set your partial exits, and that's it. Walk away. Okay. That's all you got to do. Set your alerts. So if you need to move your stop loss, or if you need to take a partial, just try to automate as much as possible. So the more hands off you are, the better. Um, because especially if you're dealing with this problem of closing your trades early. Okay. Very, very important here, guys. I can see you guys making some really good notes. Very powerful. If you've got any questions, just write that down. Just give me the questions at the end and I'll be able to get through those. So what I want to do now is I want to bring on someone from the community, and I want to help them. I want to be able to assist them with a current struggle that they're having. So let's have a look to see which one of our guests are able to join us. We did on Discord, on the Think Capital Discord, invite some of the community members. So just wondering where they are. Okay, it seems that we've got some technical issues for our the guests from the community. That is okay. That is fine because I've got plenty uh, of content to continue going through with you guys. So I do want to move on and give you guys some deeper understanding on how you can develop the mindset because mindset is very important here. Mindset is related to your beliefs. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys another one of my one of the presentations that I've given to my clients so that you'll be able to see some really great methods and tips and beliefs of how to actually recover from drawdowns. Who wants me to go into that in detail? Type of one in the chat for me. Okay, let me go ahead and share my screen. Oh, that's the wrong one. Share, here we go. All right. Andre, if you can mute, please. Hey, Andre, can you mute, please? Hey, guys. Sorry, I'm just trying to get this. Hold on, guys. Give me a sec. Having some technical issues. I'll just be one moment, guys. I'm just having some technical issues. Okay, perfect. That's sorted now. Right. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into some concepts that are going to really help shape your mindset and help you shape the right kind of beliefs when it comes to trading. Okay, so for the next 10 minutes, I want to dive into some of these. We're not going to get through all of them because this presentation alone, it takes 60 minutes. So we're probably going to just be able to cover one of these. But I'll be happy to continue this um, for a future webinar should you guys request it. So you would have to request it on Discord if you want me to continue. Otherwise, let's press on. We've only got the next 10 minutes, and then we'll do another 10 minutes of Q&A. So here we go. It's just okay. Now, it's very important when you're developing the right sort of beliefs. It's crucial to understand what you can control and what you can't control. Okay. Now, one of the I would say philosophies that I've studied and I've encouraged all of my clients to study is Stoicism. This is a philosophy of thinking, a philosophy of acting. It's a way of life. And it has so many benefits to truly embrace as a trader. And there's some great books on stoicism. I would highly recommend the books by an author called Ryan Holiday. And there is one book in particular is my favorite, which is The Obstacle is the Way. Amazing book. Someone can write that down in the chat, um, for, for you guys to study. Now, focusing on what you can control, it helps reduce anxiety, okay? Anxiety and frustration. And remember, anxiety, frustration, these are triggers. This is a trigger before the primary behavior. So if you can control, uh, focus on what you can control and reduce the anxiety and frustration, you may not be triggered anymore. You remain more calm. You remain composed, so you don't commit the mistake of the primary behavior, which is referred to as a C game or an impulsive behavior. So this means that you're concentrating on your strategy, on risk management. You're concentrating on being aware of your emotions, okay? And you're displaying discipline, fortitude. You're sticking to what, and you're focused on what you can control instead of the outcome of the trade. And a powerful quote by Marcus Aurelius really, reinforces this thinking, and that is, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. And this is it. It's about focusing on what you can control, not on what the outside events of trading, like what price action is doing, um, what the platform issues that you're experiencing, well, what ends up happening if there's issues with the prop firm. These are all outside events. They shouldn't cause you to lose focus on what you can control. They shouldn't cause you to impulsively take trades that you shouldn't, or close trades that you shouldn't. Okay. So what can we control, guys? What, as a trader, what can we control? You've got some here on the screen. Give me some other ones that of things that you can control in your system and in your process. If you can share that. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Yes, exactly. You have control over your risk and rewards. Yeah, yeah. To an extent, you have control over how much risk you place in a trade. You have control over, your daily loss limit. You know, you say to yourself, "Oh, I'm only going to risk $200 today, or I'm only going to take 3 trades today, and that's it. That's my maximum." So yes, these are some really good ideas. So some of the things that you can control is the amount of risk that you take. Okay, that is your daily risk, the account that you trade. So if you're managing multiple challenges and funded accounts, you control which of those you trade. You can decide to copy all of them together, which means that you're putting a lot of risk in just one trade, or you can decide to diversify so that one trade doesn't affect the entire portfolio. Yeah. You can control your position size. You can control your total exposure. So you can control how many trades are open at any given moment. How much open exposure, open risk do you have? And that could also mean, you can control, for example, if you've got 3 active trades that are open, you can control how much profit you lock in. And that also means how much risk, you are, how much total risk exposure you have at any given moment. These are the things you can control when it comes to risk. Also, the number of trades that you take. This is a very underrated thing, which is time that you look at the charts. So many traders, I see so many traders making the mistake of spending so much time on the charts, hours upon hours. It's a huge mistake. Huge mistake. If you can't, if you don't get control of this, if you don't have a sustainable and a healthy routine and hours spent on the charts, you're going to make mistakes because you're going to get decision fatigue. Okay. You're going to start getting paralysis because of so much analysis, so much data. You get, you, in this decision fatigue, you end up getting triggered with anxiety, with impulsive behavior. Okay. So be very mindful how much time you spend on the charts. How do you behave after you lose? This is something that you should be able to control. If you're not able to control this, then you're going to be in trouble. You're going to hold yourself back. And you know what I'm talking about. Okay. How should we behave after a loss? That's a question for you guys in the chat. What is the correct protocol? What is the correct behavior you should have after taking a loss? Now, you can also control how you think positive or negatively. This is more difficult than anything. This is very difficult. This takes time to actually be more of an optimistic, more of a more positive thinking. I would say this is more, I wouldn't say optimistic. Let me rephrase that. I would say more having the growth mindset, adopting a growth mindset. Okay. If you don't know what growth mindset is, it's essentially a type of mindset where you're constantly thinking, that you're constantly learning from your mistakes. You're constantly in this journey of self-improvement, improvement. And you're constantly reframing failure as and so there's a very empathetic type of mindset with yourself, and having a growth mindset as a trader is crucial, so crucial. Um, and so the language you use about trading, the language you use about yourself plays a big role, guys. So think about, if you're constantly having negative language about your trading, negative thoughts about your trading, then you need to start thinking about how can you change that language? How can you be a little bit more positive? How can you develop more of a growth mindset? Okay. Very, very important. And the other things that you can control are your habits and routines. You can control this. You can control when you go to the gym, when you don't go to the gym. You can control what time you go to bed and what time you wake up. If you have poor sleep hygiene and you're not sleeping well, the quality of your sleep is poor, you are going to struggle. It's going to be almost impossible for you to be consistently profitable because you're tired, because you're fatigued. You're not, you haven't even, because you're not sleeping properly, you're not learning. The brain is not able to learn effectively. So you're not able to learn from the patterns you're meant to understand. You're not able to learn your own emotions. You're just almost like a walking zombie. Nothing is absorbing. Nothing is becoming concrete. Nothing's going into your long-term memory storage. And so what happens is you just keep forgetting. There's not, so it's very important that you fix your sleep. I can't stress that enough, guys. Self-talk. You can control self-talk. The best traders I know, they are very encouraging to themselves. They become their own coach almost. You know, they encourage themselves. They pick themselves up. They're very self-motivated. They make a mistake, they screw up, but they don't beat themselves too hard. It's very important that you become your own friend. Become your own friend. Like the way you talk to yourself is, it's almost like pretend that you're talking to one of your best friends that you really love, you're really close to, and they make a mistake, or pretend you're talking to them every time you make mistakes. This one thing you'll see will help you so much. Um, and you can control your forecasting process. And now this forecasting process, it needs to be data driven, needs to be verified, um, verified data, so that you can trust it. And so when you forecast the bias for the day or direction, you need to trust this information. But you control the forecast, because you are the one that you're using technical analysis, you're using your discretion in order to get that bias. You are in control of what entry model you use, whether you follow it or not, you are in control of this, the entry model. If you don't have an entry model, or your entry model is inconsistent, it keeps changing, then you haven't got enough data yet. You haven't got enough data. Your exposure to other traders and social media. This is huge. If you are overexposing yourself to too many sources of information, and especially, these very toxic influencers that are showing you this lavish lifestyle because of successful trading, you're not going to get much value from that. You're not going to get much value from being motivated by these guys. You should be restrict who you follow on social media, and let it be strictly those who are genuinely teaching you something, they're educating you, they're providing real value. They're teaching you how they got um, from step one, or chapter zero, from zero to your first, let's say, $100,000. Because the guys that are making $1 million a year, or whatever, or maybe whatever, they're showing you a life that is just not a reality for you right now. But if you follow the guys that are teaching you how to make your first 100,000, or your first 10 payouts, or your first 100K, 500K in funding, they're teaching you that journey, or they're sharing you that with you, the journey and the systems. That's the kind of people you should be following. Otherwise, just get out of social media, right? Find a coach, find a mentor, find a community that is vibrant, that is supportive, and just stick to it, and just to get out of social media, because it's very toxic, guys. Yeah, very, very toxic. Um, and your trading environment, this is something you can control. If you're in an environment that is loud, there's people constantly interrupting you, you have so many things open on the chart, you have music, too much music. If you've got all of these distractions, and your desk, if you look at my desk is tidy. That's your charts, how much indicators you've got, how much noise you've got in front of you. That plays a key role, guys. Your trading environment is crucial. If you're trading from your bed, or you're trading from your phone, this plays a key, a very, you're not being serious. You're not treating this like a professional business, and so you're not going to get professional results. If you don't treat this as a professional, you won't get professional results. You're just going to get the average results, which is the majority of traders. They fail, they lose money. So to get out of that cohort of traders that are failing, you need to act like the 1% that are actually consistently profitable. And I've given you guys here some very good ways of thinking about what you can control. Now, I would love to continue, but I think we're going to have to start wrapping up, because I've got so much more to give you guys. Perhaps maybe we can cover that in a future webinar. If you want that, then I would suggest that I would encourage you to go on Discord, on Think Capital Discord. I would encourage you to go on Instagram and Twitter. Make some noise if you guys want me back. I'll be glad to come back. So let's start doing some Q&A, and I also would like to do an awesome giveaway with you guys. So whilst we're doing the Q&A, I want to do a really good giveaway with those that are here. Let's have a look. Okay. waiting for your question, guys. Whilst I wait for your questions, I want to give, there's going to be some of you here that are going to really resonate with the things that I've said. You're going to realize that actually having a coach, having mentorship, having that kind of guidance, and perhaps maybe you feel like I might be that person that could help you because I do have a track record of helping traders. I have a track record and testimonials. So if you feel like that could be you, then I want to give you guys an opportunity to get a coaching call with me and my team. So in order to qualify for this, you need to purchase a 100K funded account with Think Capital. And when you make that purchase, then you will qualify for a call with me and my team. So if you do qualify, make sure that you reach out to support on Discord. And then we'll be doing a giveaway for some free coaching for you guys. So let's have a look at the questions. Okay. Yeah, I'll happily come back. Definitely. It's an absolute pleasure. So I've got a question here from Delez. How does full-time manager manage screen time as to not overtrade? How does a full-time manager manage screen time so as not to overtrade? Okay. What I would suggest is with this approach, you need to, this is why I said earlier on the back testing, when you're back testing, you need to track the trade duration. So you need to track the trade duration, the time of entry, and the time of exit. And then you need to look at the average. So what asset are you trading? What time of day are you trading according to your time zone? And how long do you need in order to forecast the trade? And then how long does that trade actually play out? Now, when it's playing out, how long of your time, how much of your time do you need to be actively managing the trade? And are you managing partial exits? Are you managing the break even stop loss? Are you, what are you actively managing and how long does that take? When you have at least 100 examples on a back test and you have this data in terms of time, you'll know exactly how to answer your own question. How much time should you actually spend in front of the charts? Because you're using your own trading strategies data to tell you how long you should be spending. Does that, I hope that answered your question. Let's see what other questions we've got. How to handle losing streaks. So how to handle the losing streak is, again, what we covered today, which is focus on what you can control. What are the things and the KPIs that you can control, and create these key performance indicators on a daily basis and a weekly basis and track what you can control. Now that becomes your new focus. Your new focus becomes these KPIs. And I'll give you an example of some of these KPIs. That KPIs for your habits and routine. I must exercise before my trading session. I must do some deep breathing before my trading session. So these are sort of habitual type KPIs. And for your strategy, for your trading itself, is like, I must forecast a trade that ticks all of the boxes, all of the confluences. And I need to do this every single time. Otherwise, I don't take a trade. And some of you are very discretional. You might have 10 confluences, but you will still take the trade if 8 out of 10 of those confluences uh, are present. So in that situation, then you say, okay, if it's a 10 out of 10 trade, I'm going to go full risk, which might be 1%. However, if it's an 8 out of 10 trade, I'm going to reduce that to 0.5% risk. And anything below 8 out of 10, there's no trade. I'm not touching it. I'm going to wait for another trade. So that's a one way. Another way is for you to have a regressive risk model. So if you're in a losing streak, you reduce your risk after, let's say, for example, two losing trades, you reduce your risk by 50%. And then when you get back to break even or a certain level, you increase your risk back to normal. That's an example of a regressive risk model. Okay. Um, that's how you're able to manage drawdown periods. And another thing, another very very powerful one, and this is something that for those of you still listening, you've been here for over an hour, so I'm going to give you this one that has been very very helpful for my clients, and that is managing multiple funded accounts and not trading all of them, not copy trading all of them at the same time. So when you're in drawdown on some of accounts, you might not be in drawdown in other accounts. So whilst you're waiting for a payout on one account, you trade other accounts. So that way, some accounts are in drawdown, some accounts are in profit. Overall, as a business, you're net profitable. You're generating a net profit of cash flow each month. So now you're thinking like a business. Now you're spreading your risk across multiple accounts. Now are you really in a losing streak or not? How do you define losing streak now? If you're managing multiple accounts that some are in profit, some are not. Yeah, that's a very clever way that we've been helping our traders in scaling and managing drawdowns. Okay, so I've got time for one more question. Let's have a look. And remember, guys, if you purchase a 100K funded account with Think Capital, you'll be in for a chance to win a coaching call with me and my team. So make sure when you do make a purchase, you contact support. Okay, contact support, and they'll be able to make that happen for you guys. And then I'll be announcing somebody in the next 48 hours. Okay, we'll announce a winner. Okay, final question. Final question from. Oh, there's so many good questions, guys. Okay, I got one. There's so many questions. This is quite difficult. Uh, but I've got one. Where was it? Okay, from Saron. How to manage the urge to recover loss immediately in next trade. So there is a very high probability that when you lose a trade, if you enter immediately, there's over 95% chance that you're going to lose the next trade. So you lose a trade, you followed your rules, you did everything right, or you broke your rules. You lost the trade. If you enter straight away, there is 95% chance you're going to be wrong again. Yeah, test it. Have a look at your data. The majority of your trades, at least 80%, at least minimum 80%. And so that tells you a very clear solution that when you take a loss, switch off the machine, get away from the charts, walk away, go for a walk, go to the gym. Just don't just exit the platform. Okay, if you're able to lock yourself out of the platform, then do it. Now this is the best solution. And if and trying to do this on your own is very difficult. That's why a lot of traders come to me and my team, because we hold them accountable. We're active with our clients. They're taking trades. They message us on Discord. They're like, I just took a trade, I feel like getting back in. And we're like, no, don't get back in. You know the protocol. Get out, go for a walk, come back in 30 minutes, and send me a picture of you outside your house, like we planned this. We planned this. Now go do it. And then 5 minutes later, they take a picture. They're outside the house. We're like, okay. Yeah. So it's you got to do what you got to do, and that's something that I'm very passionate about, is finding solutions for these kind of problems. And for me, I'm when I work with a trader, I put everything into that trader. I put my all my resources, my entire team. I put so much love and attention to every single one of my clients. And sometimes I lose sleep if I can't figure out a problem for a client. Until we have the problem, then I'll be able to sleep properly at night. And that is why, when you put that much love and passion, dedication to your work, it's how you're able to get so many good results. So it's been an absolute honor, absolute pleasure. I really have enjoyed this community. You guys have been absolutely awesome. I would love to be able to share more knowledge with you guys, share more tips, and hopefully next time we can actually get one of you on stage with me. We can do live coaching sessions so you can actually see how I'm able to help a trader experience a breakthrough. And I would highly recommend you guys reach out to me. If on Twitter, you can reach out to me or as trader.coach on Twitter or X. You can also reach out to me on Instagram as rodrigo.trader.coach. And I've also got a YouTube channel called Funded Trader Coaching. So make sure you guys are following me on the socials and send me a DM. Let me know what your biggest takeaways were of today's webinar. We'd love to hear from you. And head back over to the Think Capital Discord. I'll be there for the next few days, answering your questions, getting and then continuing to serve and provide for the Think Capital community. So I want to thank Think Capital for the invitation. It's been great. We'd love to do this again. And on that note, take care, everyone. And I'll see you guys soon. Good luck with your trading. Yeah, that's fine. We can do that now.